Replay. For Chemist Warehouse. Discover the new fragrance Diesel Bad. Available now at Chemist Warehouse.
And Zorko Soccer's off the ground. It goes to Lewis Taylor, who was all on his own at centre-half forward. He wheels around and goes long. Vacant goal square. What a start to Brisbane. It's going to Mitch Robinson at centre-half forward. Beam's not without a chance. He loads up and kicks a bomb. A Beams bomb from outside 50.
Oh, Goddard's under pressure. Spills to Hipwood. Great forward pressure for the Lions. Hipwood turns and kicks an unbelievable goal.
Gleeson caught high, then he's wrapped up. Here's Zorko, inside out job from Zorko, on the bounce, it's a goal! They're within a kick, all right on the three-quarter time siren.
This quarter of SEN football for the Ross Faulkner one-touch ball, the ultimate football training aid.
Well, as Rob Waters has said all night, it's just great to hear a bit of atmosphere here at the Gabba. It's been 3 tough years under Justin Leppich. The crowds had certainly gone away, but they've come in big numbers tonight. They're seeing their team put on a really competitive display, and the fact that at one stage, Rob, they were 42 points down, Brisbane.
Yep.
They've shown some real heart to be right in this game with a quarter to go.
Well, you know, quite frankly, but in the last couple of years under Vossi, it wasn't great either. But finally, there's a bit to like about the Brisbane Lions. They have got 2 or 3, maybe 4 key forwards to kick to. The midfield's competitive. Beams is a star.
Yep.
Taylor's playing some footy similar to his year when he won the Rising Star. And the defence seems to be holding up at the moment. And Essendon now has a real fight on its hands to win a game that at one stage looked theirs for all money. Leading by 42 points, they were cruising. But they didn't bank on the spirit of this Brisbane Lions team.
Final quarter. Bombers lead it by 5 points. It is St Kilda against West Coast over at Domain Stadium. We'll keep an eye on that. The Saints with a big goal to Loney. They lead it by 17 points. With about 8 minutes to play in the third quarter. Big win for the Melbourne Storm earlier tonight, 28-6 in the NRL. Earlier today, the Giants by 102 points over the Gold Coast and Adelaide by 24 over Hawthorn. A big Saturday of footy here on 11:16 SEN as Martin swats it out of the ruck. Here's Mitch Robinson away to Leicester. Looking to hit a target inside 50. Hipwood's got it. Good, strong, contested mark out in front of the eyes against Hartley. The Glenn Cameron group, mark of the night contender. That's another Cameron's can-do grab. And a shot at goal coming up for Eric Hipwood.
Yeah, good grab then. A really good grab. And he's an exciting talent. Can he stand up to the moment? This will put them in front.
Well, he's only had the 5 disposals. Kicked a great goal in the third quarter. He was able to turn on his left. He had a bit of room to move. He's a beautiful kick, particularly from this range. He can roost a footy. Runs out in that left arc. Can it hold its line? It's going to be very, very close. He shredded it through and Brisbane lead it here at the Gabba. And they come from everywhere. And SEN Chisholm and Gaiman goal of the night. 12-9-81 the Lions. Essendon 12-8-80. We've gone a minute and a half on the SEN air conditioning warehouse sales clock in this final quarter.
Well, they're in front. It's remarkable. 7 goals they trailed by, as we've been saying for a while. And you just thought Essendon are in for a big win here. But they have found something, Brisbane. And they are playing with a confidence and a spark that's driven them all the way back from 42 points down. And Hipwood's been a part of that with 2 goals now. Zorko's going well in the middle. He toe pokes off the ground. Buick can't take it with him. It's centre-half forward for Brisbane. Mitch Robinson goes for goal. He goes long. Oh, it's just off target. They had a free kick. Robinson quite rightly took the advantage, but his long bomb didn't hit the spot. 2 points Brisbane lead, 12-10 to 12-8. Final quarter for the Ross Faulkner one-touch ball, the ultimate football training aid.
Michael Hurley to put it back into play here for the Bombers. All the flow of the game has gone the way of Brisbane in this second half. McStay, a little bit of blood just at the back of his head there, so he's coming off the ground. SEN Makita scoreboard brought to you by Makita's cordless power garden range. Might need to grab one of those. The world's largest range, over 1,500 tools on one battery. Sounds good to me. as McStay just skips to the boundary. And we just await a reset here. Brisbane by 2 points. Michael Hurley to put it back into play. It's St Kilda by 17 points for McGregor Portables. Third quarter around the grounds at Domain Stadium. He's Dyson Heppel in the back pocket. Back to Hurley. Floats one towards Watson. He was able to take the mark as he led Dane Beams to the footy. His eyes turned inboard. Nicely done to McGrath. Measured stuff from the Bombers, trying to get it out of their back half. There's McGrath now. Goes long, just over the head though. Zaharakis. Ooh, coming through Gardner to meet him. And that ball goes over the boundary line. We'll have it thrown in. McStay getting mopped up. We've got a bit of bandaging. We saw Louis Taylor cop a knock earlier in the game.
Gardner had the elbow cocked in that little collision. He meant business. So Brisbane really dominating clearances once more. Rockcliffe involved there. Poor kick though. Comes to Robinson. And they win it back. Buick has it now. Close to the boundary line. Short pass. Spot on to Zorko. So clever with his use of the footy. Having a good night once more. This time it's a short kick. And Brisbane just getting themselves into a bit of a hole. Zorko's got it once again. Really unsure as to where to go. Loops it over the top. Barrett slipped over and hand passed it out of bounds. That was no good from young Jake. Rich yet to see action in this final quarter. Brisbane leading by 2 points, 12-10 to 12-8. Final quarter for the Ross Faulkner one-touch ball, the ultimate football training aid. Watson wins that one, Brett.
He does. Fed it to Goddard. He was under pressure though. Gathered by Rockcliffe. Fed it back to Buick. Back to Mitch Robinson. Got to be clean here, Brisbane. To Cutler. Kicks wide towards half forward. James Kelly will get back and take the mark here for Essendon. As he kicks back inboard to Bagley here at half back. Just got him hemmed in here, Brisbane. Now McGrath feeds it back to Bagley, who now clears it wide towards half back. Mark taken here by Hartley, who goes in short to Stanton. So just sort of kick and mark stuff here for the Bombers at the moment. Stanton now given the wave on. He's going to come back in towards the corridor. Nicely done to Heppel. They've kept possession beautifully here, the Bombers. He goes to Hartley, who's come from defence. Space opens up at half forward. Spoiled by Cutler was good there on Langford. Now they can go. Here's Mays. They can run and carry off half-back Barrett. Back to Mays. Needs to hit a target inside 50. It's a low spearing ball. It's a few hands. Bell gathers. Wants to turn back on his right. Back to Taylor. Can he thread it? He can't. Very wide from Louis. Out of bounds on the full. Didn't look like it. Off the boot. It's going to come down to making the most of your opportunities in this last quarter.
Cutler did well, but that was a free kick against him. He clearly caught Langford high, and the umpire let it go and had enabled Brisbane to run it up the field and have a shot at goal. But again, Bell and Taylor should have done better there. Watson has it now. Can he lift his side, the former skipper? Short pass is good to Zaharakis. Brisbane lead 12-10 to 12-8. Early stages of the final term. McGrath's got it. Bell's after him. McGrath gives him the slip. Now he runs into a bit of a corner. Gets it to Kelly, who drops it. Then he nonchalantly walks through. Aggressive kick from the former Geelong champ. Battling away pretty well as Howlett in the end. It's a stalemate in the middle of the ground against Zorko. Although he's given away a free kick to Dane Zorko. as Beams is going off the ground, we better keep an eye on that. Hope it's just part of the rotations and he's not hurt. So Leicester has it now for Brisbane. Swings it out wide to Rich. Drops the centre. Merritt was bearing down, and that should have been a chest mark to Rich. He battles on pretty well. Gets it to Robinson. Well played, Rich. Gardner now for Brisbane. This kick has to be spot on. Just Bell went underneath it. Battling away is McStay. He gets it towards Rich. Rich hand pass, no good. Intercepted by Heppel. Heppel at half back. Gets it to Merritt. Merritt's got out of it a bit. Gets it to Watson. The three gun midfielders combining. Watson a little unsure. Back to Merritt, who hand passes it back to Watson, who balances on the line. He was over. And Beams is being worked on. It's looks some sort of foot or a foot problem.
Yep. He's just taken his boot off, Rob. The dock, just the top of his foot there. Keep an eye on that. Here's Zorko from the stoppage. Nice little handball to Barrett. Around the corner inside 50. Hipwood just couldn't gather cleanly. Mop-up work done by Michael Hurley. Dangerous kick back into the corridor. Put Tipungwuti under a bit of pressure. Good enough to lay off the handball now to Ambrose. He's in two minds, looking at the best options. A one-on-one at half forward. Howlett v Mays. Foot race on. Nice gather by Howlett. Lost his footing. Was able to stand up. Fed it back to Heppel. He's under pressure from Rockcliffe. Brisbane the extra number. Nicely done. Martin back to Zorko. Oh, he's going to turn it over though. Mark taken by Collier. Here at half forward for the Bombers. Brings it inboard to McDonald Tipungwuti. He's going to go on the left, but looking at a target, and he will comfortably. Mark taken by Fantasia. As Beams is putting his boot back on, so that's a good sign for Brisbane. I need the captain out there in this last quarter, and this to put the Bombers back in front. For Orazio Fantasia, he's kicked the 3 tonight. Kicked the 4 against the Hawks at the MCG last Saturday night. One against the flow just to get things back in the Bombers' favour. And he shredded it beautifully. It's a good return in the first 2 weeks of the season for the man wearing number 13 on the SEN Makita scoreboard. Brought to you by Makita's cordless power garden range, the world's largest range, over 1,500 tools on one battery. The Bombers 13-8-86, Brisbane 12-10-82.
Well, a much needed goal and lovely little kick on his non-preferred side from McDonald Tipungwuti, just off a step, and spotted Fantasia, who was open. Beams is back on, which is great news for Brisbane. But boy, did they need that, Essendon. Dane Beams, 29 disposals. He's been brilliant. 10 contested possessions, couple of goals. He's done it all. Essendon by 4 points, but Martin wins it again in the middle. He's had a picnic in there. Hurried kick to half forward. Hepwood's marked it. He's had marked a 2-grabber at centre half forward, well within range. Just a bit too good for Hartley on that occasion. He's already kicked a couple of goals, but again, Brett, it came from Martin in the middle.
How many times has he done that, Rob? He's just been able to pluck it out. McKernan jumping a little too early. I reckon that I could count probably half a dozen times Martin's done that tonight out of the ruck.
So Hepwood, kick to put them back in front once more. Kicking from 50, straight in front, on the Buddy arc, and it doesn't work for him on that occasion. He got the journey, no worries, but it was always way out to the left. So it's Essendon by 3 points, 13-8 to 12-11. 12-minute mark of the final quarter.
So Robinson puts it back into play. Now they're gathered by Zorko over the top. He's Gardner, brought down by Hooker, laid it off to Bell, round the corner towards the goal square, and Brisbane appealing for deliberate. Ambrose gets it over the boundary line. Great game also at Domain Stadium around the grounds from McGregor Portables, an office granny flat or footy change room anywhere. 12-17-89 St Kilda, West Coast 12-5-77. Got about a minute to play in the third quarter. Zorko couldn't take it cleanly. Now Hurley with a clearing kick. Frost, Hooker, one-on-one battle. Well done by Jack Frost. He got it to the boundary side, trying to keep it alive. Well, Gardner just took his eyes off the footy. Howlett. Pressure came from Leicester. Tough footy to win right now in this last quarter. And Essendon led it by 3 points.
One stage they led by 42 points if you've just joined us. And then Brisbane mounted this fabulous comeback. The ruckman wrestling for the throw-in. Martin wins it, but taps it to the advantage of Collier, who wins the ball and gets it to Merritt. Closed down on the boundary line. His kick was smothered, and there'll be a throw-in once more. Essendon leading by 3 points. Final quarter for the Ross Faulkner one-touch ball, the ultimate football training aid. So boundary throw-in. Can Martin produce something for them here? He's opposed to McKernan. Got himself in front, and Martin then threw it out. He's given away a free kick. It's going to go the Bombers' way on the wing.
So it'll go to McKernan in the ruck. That's a big battle as this game enters its final stanza in the next 10 minutes. Oh, right through the hands of Fantasia. Gathered by Frost. Rich. He needs to get involved, Daniel Rich. Beams did nicely. Ducked his way out of the oncoming traffic and just skids one towards half forward. Goes over the boundary line. Good result for Brisbane in the end. They get a little bit of meterage up the line. Bombers by 3 points on the SEN Makita scoreboard. Here's Martin with the tap. Now they're gathered by Rich, away to Mitch Robinson. Kick partially smothered towards half forward. Rich bursting his way through. Nicely done by McStay. Now the kick to Hipwood come off the boot of Rockcliffe.
Starting to dominate now, Hipwood.
Well, it could be on his boot in this last quarter. Big Eric Hipwood is the key forward for Brisbane. He's on a tightish angle. He's on a good side, though, for a left footer. We know he's got the potential to kick some great goals. And Eric Hipwood looking to stand up, a young man with a big future. This to put the Brisbane Lions back in front. As he runs out on that left arc, as he traditionally does, it's going to go across the face. And it'll go out of bounds on the full. So a couple of opportunities not going the way of Eric Hipwood.
Yeah, well, so the last two kicks haven't been confident from young Hipwood. His first goal was instinctive. He just took it around the corner. He's had a bit of time to think about it and hasn't gone his way. Bastanak controls it pretty well to Robertson. Here's Rockcliffe, nice sidestep. Next kick important, was smothered. And Essendon may be able to set something up here, but Gardner might get a free kick, nothing doing. Now they're all alive, Essendon. McDonald, Tip and Woody. He's got the man inside, it's Langford. He's 30 out and closing. Shanked the kick and hits the post. Brisbane fans, I think rightfully upset.
Yep, should have been a free.
But what a chance blown there by Langford. Oh, it's tense at the Gabba with Essendon 4 points in front.
Every possession vital here, Bastanak. Here's Andrews. Feeds it back inside to Mays. Mays towards half forward, a couple of options. Zorko quick to go on the right boot. One-on-one inside 50. Over the back, Louis Taylor. Pitch is okay. He can burn off Gleeson. Poor effort in the end by Taylor.
Chief.
That'll send the hair a little bit greyer for Chris Fagan. Should have done better there. Tried the dribble goal. And Essendon were able to mop up margin 4 points, 3 points, I should say, 87 plays 84.
How's Chris going in the box? He's had 2 nail-biters to start his coaching career. We saw the stress and the anxiety last week. He's got another one as Essendon burst clear, and Fantasia's got it. He's got a man over the top. It's Langford, and he's found him. And Langford, well, this will be a test of the young man's nerves.
Well, that's a huge moment, Rob. For Lewis Taylor, one-on-one, 20 metres out from goal. We'll try and get a look at that on the SEN Chemist Warehouse replay when it comes up. That's the moment. It might just cost Brisbane the game.
Well, he had a bit more time than he thought to create something a bit more with the percentages in his favour than the option he chose. Big moment now for young Langford. 30 out straight in front. That's better. He's got the job done for the Bombers. And they get a little bit of wriggle room that they haven't enjoyed for some time. Big goal that for young Kyle Langford. Brisbane 12-12-84. The Bombers 14-9-93. And that's on the SEN Makita scoreboard. Brought to you by Makita's Cordless Power Garden range. The world's largest range, over 1,500 tools on one battery. Wow.
Well, big goal for the Bombers. And Brisbane just not able to quite convert in this last quarter. Hipwood's had a couple of shots at goal. Lewis Taylor with a chance. It's just going to come down to some moments. And the Bombers have been able to convert. Martin with the palm down. Rich hit the contest hard. Feeds it back to Mays. He ran into a brick wall in Merritt. And he's gone. Vantage paid Bombers. McDonald, Tip and Woody sprints. Inside 50. Closest to 40. Just the pressure came as he put boot on ball. Forced the kick wide into the forward pocket. And the Bombers are deep again. Close to goal.
It's a good play, McDonald, Tip and Woody. He's really had a big hand in Essendon steadying here in the final quarter and creating a number of chances.
Frost v Hooker. Hooker tries to push it back centrally. Now they're gathered by Leicester. Clears it out of the danger zone. Marked by Martin. He juggled it. Big Stephen Martin. He's going to go wide towards Zorko. Didn't favour him in the air, though. A little bit too much carry. Oh, and he's given away the 50. He knows it too. Just a moment. He'd love to take back Dane Zorko. The push on Bagley after he clearly marked the footy. And little moments costing Brisbane in this last quarter.
Gee, that's a brain fade, isn't it, really?
Yep. So it brings Bagley right towards the 50. Now the long, deep kick. Big Jack Frost with the spoil. Rich, not clean, then just soccers it out of the defensive area. Here's Mitch Robinson, almost brought down by Kelly in the tackle, releases the footy. McStay, good juggling mark. Right in front of the interchange, Daniel McStay. Eyes going back in towards the corridor towards Robinson. Trying to link up here the Lions. Forced to go back boundary side though. Mark taken by Rockcliffe.
Rockcliffe, short pass has to be good there to Martin. It wasn't. And he kicked it to a 1-on-3. Parrish mops up for the Bombers. High kick towards full forward. Hooker! He's taken a really good mark. More at centre half forward. Dishes off to Watson. Here's my man. McDonald tipping Woody. That's a great goal. And they may be home, the Bombers. It's probably too early, but Brisbane's now going to have to kick 3 goals to beat them. But how good's he been in this final quarter? McDonald, Tip and Woody. Just a poor option from Rockcliffe looking at the Chemist Warehouse replay. And there was a good spoil in there from Gleeson. Set up Parrish, and McDonald, Tip and Woody was away. So on the SEN Makita scoreboard, brought to you by Makita's cordless power garden range, the world's largest range, over 1,500 tools for one battery. And not many can say that.
No.
Brisbane 84, Essendon 15-9. 99.
Oh, a game of momentum swings here at the Gabba around the grounds from McGregor Portables and office granny flat or a footy change room anywhere. Underway in the final quarter. A close one there as well. Saints led it by one straight kick, 12-17. 89. Will that come back to bite St Kilda? West Coast 13-5-83. Martin takes down to the ruck for Brisbane to Hipwood. Hartley with the spoil. Ground level ball for Rich. He's besieged. Kelly the tackle on Bastanak. Gathered by Fantasia is good. Bagley fed it back to McGrath. Wants to turn back inboard. Does nicely. The number 1 draft pick long towards half forward. Hooker between 2 Lions defenders, Frost and Andrews. Took the mark unopposed. Long kick inside 50. Good spoil in there from Mays. Gathered by Buick. Now Beams. Deep in defence here for Brisbane. Is there one last charge from the Brisbane Lions as he sends it wide towards Mitch Robinson at half back. 6:20 on the clock. Final quarter for the Ross Faulkner one-touch ball, the ultimate football training aid.
So Beams kicks long, and that's been well marked there by McKernan. It's a good moment for him. Essendon by 15 points. There's 6 minutes of playing time left. That was great play a moment ago from the number 1 draft pick. Really encouraging stuff from McGrath, who's settled in pretty nicely. So his form in the JLT was not quite what it has been in the opening 2 rounds, which is a really good sign. He's been great when the real stuff has begun. So Essendon back in control a bit now. Hartley with the footy, and here's McGrath running up from defence. 60 from home. Another goal will be enough for Essendon. They're not quite home yet, but they're looking good. McGrath just kicks it up towards full forward, wanting a big mark. Up they fly. Here's a chance for Fantasia. Snapping towards goal, Lewis Taylor in the way. Lester on the last line doesn't want to, he wants to keep it in. His kick is not good and trickles over the line. So it remains in Essendon's forward area inside their attacking 50, and they lead Brisbane by 15 points with 5 minutes remaining.
St Kilda lining up for a shot at goal at Domain Stadium, leading West Coast by 6 points. Couple of good games on a Saturday night. Here's Lester trying to storm his way through the pack. Nowhere to go. McKernan right there. Big goal to Membry for the Saints. They're out by 2 goals at Domain Stadium around the grounds for McGregor Portables. 13-17-95. West Coast 13-5-83. So ball put down again. Zaharakis, Collier. Fed it back. Goddard. Foot over the boundary line from Brendan Goddard. Boundary umpire right on it.
They've just announced a crowd of over 21,000 at the Gabba. Given the week they've had, that is a really good result, and that's a great crowd.
I reckon they passed the 20,000 member mark this week, Brisbane. So yeah, if they can average that sort of crowd, but people love to jump on a winner, as we know. It's been lean pickings for the Lions. If they can play with this sort of heart every time they're at home, they're going to get plenty of support. Here's Rockcliffe. Gleeson. Can't quite trap it around the ankles. Brisbane get a little bit up the line, but just lost a bit of their run at the moment. Essendon controlling things here. 15 points their lead, just under 5 minutes to go.
So Time is becoming an issue for the Brisbane Lions. They need a goal or three pretty quickly. Mitch Robinson takes the ball on the wing. Long kick towards full forward. Closer wrestling away there. McStay's there, but the mummified McStay's got the big bandage around the noggin. Can't control the footy. In dispute on the wing. Great hand pass in from McKernan to Watson, who lopes after the footy. Had time to assess his options, and it ends up out of bounds. Zorko having a spell. This will be a game of moments, and we'll look back to the Lewis Taylor non-goal.
Yep.
Could have regained the lead for Brisbane, and he made a bit of a mess of it, and Essendon have been in control ever since. Ball in dispute on the wing. Brisbane win it though, comes to Beams, it's in good hands. He goes long, it'll get to Hipwood almost. No, it doesn't. That was an excellent mark taken by Hartley. And now he's got to play a free. It's McGrath at centre-half back. He's growing in confidence, the young man. Takes a bounce and then gets it to Goddard. Goddard to Hooker all on his own. He marks 75 from home. Hooker taking his time. And they might milk a bit of time off the clock here as we're inside the final 4 minutes. He swings it out wide to Zach Merritt. Merritt goes long, wanting a big mark. There's not much there, and Harris Andrews fills the spot and takes an uncontested grab.
Final quarter for the Ross Faulkner one-touch ball. It's the ultimate football training aid. Well, it's time for Brisbane. They've got to get on their bike pretty quickly. 2-on-2 at half forward. Big fist in by Hurley. Gathered by Gleeson. Now the space opens up for the Bombers. To Goddard between wing and half forward. Beautifully placed kick. Just inside the boundary line. Mark taken by Hooker. So Hooker certainly in range. Tight angle though. 45-degree angle. He's right on the boundary line at right half forward. He'll kick from just a smidge inside 50. Unless he looks to lay it off. Eyes darting inboard for Cale Hooker. 11 disposals. He's just going to put it towards the top of the square. Puts it up towards McKernan. Now Beams at ground level. Will kick the clearing kick out of the danger zone. Spilt mark there by Stanton. Hipwood well up the ground trying to earn a disposal. Hands and knee stuff from Heppel. He couldn't gather it cleanly. Met by Robertson. Loose ball to be won. It does fall in the hands of Eric Hipwood. He's got the pace as well.
Wow.
He's good in the air and he loves a run, but he just ran a fraction too far. And James Kelly, the veteran, said, young fella, you might be a bit quicker, but not this time.
Kelly said, show me a bit more bloody respect, will you, next time, and told him all about it. Good stuff from the veteran.
Well, that was sort of the fell at the last roll of the dice for Brisbane.
Yep. Brisbane trail by 15 points. They've been really good, though, I must say, and could have won this game if not for a terrible burst, a terrible sort of lapse for them in the second quarter when Essendon took control. But they've come from 42 points down to hit the front before Essendon steadied once more. And it looks like they're going to get home tonight. Collie is in control on the wing, takes the easy mark. He's got Merritt running for him now. He looks inboard. That's a beautiful weighted kick, and Watson has taken the mark. He played on quickly, smothered by Zorko. Heppel's there. Watson gets another crack. Hand passes it now to Orazio Fantasia. Gets it back towards Stanton, or Zaharakis ices the game. Essendon's home, courtesy of a Zaharakis goal. Not for the first time he's done that. And Essendon's lead is 21 points. And they'll be a relieved camp tonight, the Bombers. 42 points up. Brisbane hit the front. And then Essendon's rallied once more.
Yeah, they certainly have. It's a big start to the year here for Essendon on the Makita scoreboard, brought to you by Makita's cordless power garden range. That's the world's largest range. In fact, over 1,500 tools on one battery. Celebration time for Essendon.
That's a damn good battery.
I'm going there tomorrow. I'll tell you what, I need that. Here's Bastanek out of the middle. Here's Rich, who just kicks a floater, a high one in the air towards half forward. Beams and Gleeson one-on-one. Now the mop-up work starts. Stanton to McGrath. Into space. Head on. Coming as Gardner. Did well for Brisbane. Buick. Back to Cutler.
It's Brisbane player down.
Just keep an eye on that. It's Darcy Gardner. It was just that contest We'll check that for the SEN Chemist Warehouse replay in a moment. Here's Harwood. Took a looping handball from Harris Andrews, a 1-2 out of defence. Now Andrews will kick it towards half forward. Not a great kick off the boot. Danaher takes it comfortably. Feeds it to Dyson Heppel. Right on the wing. He'll kick it long towards half forward at the back hooker. Well done by Harris Andrews. He's a fine player. Just able to always get a hand in somewhere. Gardner's back on his feet. Looks to be okay. Just having a look at the Chemist Warehouse replay here. We seem to take a knock, maybe from his own teammate.
Yeah, someone trod on his foot.
Here's Martin and McKernan. Falls to Leicester. Kick on the outside of the boot towards the wing. Big spoil by Joe Danaher. Falls to Bell. He's brought down in the tackle beautifully. Advantage will be paid to the Essendon team. Danaher over the top. Miss Collie has got the pace to get back on it. See one more. Zaharakis. Fed it back to Kelly. He'll hit a target. A kick after the siren here for the Bombers to Orazio Fantasia coming up. 21 points as it stands. They've gone early with a song. There might be a little bit more. Oh, and someone said just hold that button, please.
The fader button came into handy use there.
They kicked 4 last week. He can finish with 5 tonight. The excitement machine that is Orazio Fantasia. 45 out. And he piles on a bit more pain for the Brisbane Lions. And now you can hit the button, sir, in full.
Yeah, let it rip.
Because they've won it by 27 points, Essendon. The crowd tonight of 21,000 and the Bombers at 2-0. And now they'll play the Bombers song loud and clear. In a big win here at the Gabba.
This quarter of SEN Football was brought to you by the Ross Faulkner One Touch Ball, the ultimate football training aid.
So what a finish by the Bombers. Fantasia finishes with 5. 3 to Danaher, 2 apiece to Hooker and Zaharaka. Singles to McDonald, Tippenworthy, Langford, Travis Collier, Zach Merritt, and also for Goddard. And for the Brisbane Lions tonight, Hipwood, Beams have finished with 2 apiece. Singles to Andrews, Rich, Lester, Robinson, Zorko, Louis Taylor who kicked the 1-goal 3 tonight. They were 42 points down, Brisbane, 22 minutes into the second quarter. Got their nose in front, made a game of it in the second half, and then the Bombers pulled away. Down the stretch, they were fantastic. 17-9, 111, defeating Brisbane 12-12, 84.
Well, the final scoreboard says 27 points. It was a bit tougher than that for Essendon, really. And I think they'll be happy to get out of the Gabba with the win and reload as they fly home and prepare for next week. But Brisbane, really encouraging signs. Look, they had their chances to perhaps, you know, get 2 to 3 goals in front of that final quarter, and they couldn't do it. And then Essendon were able to regather themselves. Zach Merritt was terrific tonight with 32 disposals.
Yep.
You know, they couldn't really handle Fantasia in the end. 5 goals. I mean, what, he's kicked 9 in 2 weeks to start off 2017. That's really good stuff from one of the most talented and exciting players in the competition. So the great story that is Essendon this year rolls on, and you know, who knows how well they can go. I don't think there's any ceiling on what they can achieve in 2017. And Brisbane, well, they've clearly improved. They're playing a better brand of football under Chris Fagan. I don't think they were helped by a little injury to Dane Beams' foot in that final quarter. He went off the ground and came back on and
had their chances, didn't they? Hipwood missed a couple, the Lewis Taylor moment that we've highlighted, so
yep, a couple of missed passes
could have been
as well.
A different story.
Could have been, but they showed a fair bit of ticker to come back from 7 goals down. In previous years, that would have blown out to a 12 or even a 15-goal drubbing. That wasn't the case tonight.
The Bombers next week have got Carlton, of course, the Sunday afternoon game at the MCG, and the Lions will travel to Etihad Stadium, the early game next Sunday, taking on St Kilda.